Okay, so I got my 6-inch scale for measuring. I need to put a hole in over there. I need to put a punch in the thing there. So you're going to grab a center punch. Looks like that. Need to eyeball the center of the bush. Enough. If you hit it too hard, you break the flange. Then you get to go to a different spot. Alright, so there's where the hole's going to go right there. So I need a drill to drill it with. It's an 1/8 inch drill. Jim's makes these fancy tools here that you can use to go inside a bush and into a hole and drill. That's what these things are for. I don't use these tools for that. I use them for other things. Because I just cut my own. This one looks like it might actually be for doing one of these jobs. Nope, not this one. See, it's loose. This is for something else, but that's what they have these holes for. But that has to be a pretty big flange. Look how big that flange diameter would be. Way bigger than we got. Okay, somewhere there's a drill bit. I just saw one over here the other day. What did I do with it? I'm not seeing it. Drill bits in here, but not the right ones. Alright, so much for that plan. That was a damn good plan, but it didn't work. Alright, well, it's a good thing I have my own drill bits. So the dowel pins are 1/8 inch. If you use an 1/8 inch drill bit, you will have a loose fit. So we want to go one size under, which is a number drill. And we're looking for a 120, which is this one right here. 1/4 thou under. So that way when you beat it into the hole, it'll be tight. Won't fall out. Falling out is a bad thing. We don't want them to fall out. Okay, so here's our drill bit. Punch that thing through the hole. Do what we need to do. Alright. Go in the drill press over here and get set up. Once again, I'm going to do this by myself, so I'll go over to the drill press, set up the camera, and then we go do some work. Amazing how this job works like this. Okay, that's a drill press. It's for drilling things, see? That's how that works. Pretty complicated. Take the top off. Okay, so this goes over here. That drops down a little bit, probably not that much. Probably about that much is good. It's hard for you to see much, but oh well. It is what it is. Put the drill bit in the choke. Buried over here, cases in mine, of course. Why wouldn't it be? No, you don't have to put it super tight, but tight enough it doesn't move. Yeah, you can almost see in there. Yeah, you can a little bit. Yep. So you take this and you drop it down until you get to where your bushing is. What speed? We're on high speed. spot it so it just touches. Lay it in there, lock it down. Now I have an adjustable depth stop right here. I'd set that to 1/4 inch. Which is dark over here, so I can't see a damn thing, which is normal. Yeah. Oh, I can see now. Amazing how that works. Maybe I'm not so blind anymore. Okay, there's a 1/4 inch. So you make sure you spot it in. I have to go a little bit higher, get a little extra. Okay, now we just go ahead and drill it. Brass, we're going through a combination now. Get it nice and slow, light pressure. Don't need to force it or break anything. All the way down. Feels like the drill's getting a little dull. Took a lot of pressure for what it was. It looks good, but it's got to be getting a little dull. Alright, so now we're done with that part. Okay, we come over and get our case. Alright, and our camera. The camera's all in the way right now, but oh well. There it goes. The tripod has to fold up for you to use it. Okay, so here's your hole. See what it looks like in there. Chips are laying in there, so you're going to dump the chips out. Give it a quick blow. Okay. There's the hole. You can see it where it's half in, half out. Not too bad. It doesn't look too awful bad there. Okay, now what we're going to do is put the dowel pin, not the short one, but the long one. I'm going to beat it in with a punch. So first you have a small punch that will actually push on it. Now I go a little bit bigger one. There's my big one. There we go. So I got a big one and a small one. So the big one actually flatten the hole outside the bushing and squeeze it in a little bit to make sure the pin cannot come out. So I'll show you that in a minute here, how that's done. Now you can either put a little Loctite on there or not. Shouldn't have to, it's a tight hole. Problem's getting your fingers in here to put it in there. Take the big punch, put it on top of it. Tap it in. Okay. Get over here, you can see a little better. Yeah, I don't know if you see anything. Get Down in here we can see in there, looking through the hole in here. It's hard to see. So I'm going to knock this pin in there right there. Use a bigger punch to go flat. Okay. Take the small one, go below the surface slightly. Hear it drop. That means I'm below the surface. Then I come back with this bigger one. I hit it on both sides slightly. Pin it over. And that basically stakes it. So now the pin is in there and it's staked in. This whole area is low in there. So the washer is going to skip across that whole area and skip over, but that's fine. It's nice and flat. Now, if you feel like it's a little bit uneven in there, you can hit it with a file real quick. A little dull file. Just to make sure there's no high spots. There's a nice file. Have a file and work the camera at the same time. Doesn't work that way. So you always run your file across to make sure it's flat. It's going to come from this side. This is too thin. So use our bigger file. I didn't feel any kind of a burr at all. So everything you were looking at was below the surface. So there you go. That's all installed in there now. Nice and even. It's in there like you want. Now when you beat this dowel in there, it pushes the metal out this direction. So I like to put the cam in there trying to burnish it back in, but we already tried to put this in earlier, didn't go in. It's too tight. So you don't want to go in there. You know, I still like to make sure I expand it out a little bit, so I'll just take the hammer, hold the cam perfectly straight, give it a couple whacks, just to make sure it's in there good and tight. Okay. Now it's stuck in there. What a shocker. It's alright. There's ways of getting these out. Called the socket. Okay, cam's out. Did no damage to the cam. So what that does is it lightly burnishes the bushing in. So you can see how it was pushing metal right there. See, it's pushing it, make it tighter here. So if the bushing was pushed out a little bit from the pin being in there, when I beat on like that, it kind of shoved it back and made sure it's good and tight in that area. And no extra. So you see how it's a little tight in there. So trying to cut metal as it goes down. See, it's burnishing it in. Okay, so now we go ahead and ream it. So I have to measure the cam and see which reamer we're going to use over here. So it's 13/16 diameter. So we have a fixed reamer and have an adjustable reamer. So we're going to measure the cam and see what the diameter is and figure out which one of those we're going to use. Okay, be back in a minute. I'm going to do a battery swap.